It's 9:47 p.m. The fluorescent lights in PS124's main hallway flicker like they're trying to give up. The building smells like floor wax, old textbooks, and the faint ghost of cafeteria pizza from lunch. Maya Chen, a 27-year-old black woman with tired eyes and a messenger bag full of ungraded papers, is the last teacher in the building. Again. She's locking up her classroom, mentally calculating if she has enough energy to cook dinner or if it's another cereal for dinner night when she hears footsteps echoing down the empty hallway. Heavy, deliberate, expensive shoes on linoleum. Her hand freezes on her classroom door. The school should be empty. Security does rounds at 9 p.m. sharp, and everyone knows to be out by then. She turns slowly, heart picking up speed, and sees a man walking toward her from the shadowy end of the hallway. Tall, maybe 6'2", black suit that probably costs more than her monthly rent, perfectly styled dark hair with just enough gray at the temples to suggest authority. Korean, mid-40s, moving with the kind of quiet confidence that makes you step aside without knowing why. But it's not him that makes Maya's breath catch. It's the little boy walking beside him, no older than 8, maybe 9, holding the man's hand, drowning in a private school uniform, navy blazer with a gold crest, pressed khaki pants, shoes so shiny they reflect the dying fluorescent lights. The child's face is solemn, ancient in a way that makes Maya think of old photographs, and his eyes, sharp and watchful, track her every movement. "Miss Chen," the man says, his English flawless, accent barely detectable. His voice is smooth, controlled, and the kind of voice that doesn't need to rise to be heard. Maya's throat goes dry. "Yes? How did you—" She trails off. The school doors are locked. How did he get in? "I apologize for the late hour," he continues, stopping a respectful distance away. "My name is Kang Min-jun. This is my son, Kang Jae-hoon." The boy bows slightly, perfectly trained. "I was told you're the best math teacher in this district. My son needs help. Where are you right now? Drop your city in the comments and tell me honestly. If a stranger and his child appeared in your empty school at night, what would you do? Would you help, or would you run?" Let me take you back to understand who Maya Chen really was before that night rewrote her entire life. December 2018, Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. And Maya had grown up in a cramped railroad apartment above a bodega on Nostrand Avenue. Her mother, Linda Chen, was black, from Georgia, worked double shifts as a home health aide. Her father, David Chen, was Chinese-American, second generation, drove a cab until a heart attack took him when Maya was 16. Mixed in Brooklyn, in the 2000s, meant belonging everywhere and nowhere. Too black for the Chinese kids, too Asian for the black kids, until she learned to code switch like breathing, to find her people in the margins, in the other kids who didn't quite fit the boxes. Her mother raised her on 2 commandments. Education is your way out, and never depend on anyone but yourself. Maya heard. She worked her way through Hunter College on a combination of scholarships, tutoring gigs, and weekend shifts at the same bodega she'd grown up above. She got her teaching degree, passed her certifications, and landed a job at PS124 in Queens. The school was Title I, underfunded, overcrowded, 90% students of color, metal detectors at the entrance, and test scores that made the district office wince. But the kids were smart, funny, resilient, and Maya loved them fiercely. She'd been teaching for 5 years now, living in a studio apartment in Jamaica, Queens, that cost $1,400 a month and had radiator heat that worked maybe 60% of the time. She sent money to her mother every month, $300 like clockwork, because Linda's hours had been cut, and medical bills from a bad fall last year were still piling up. Maya's savings account had $2,400 in it. That was it. 5 years of teaching, and she had $2,400 to show for it. She dated occasionally, teachers, other professionals she met through friends. Nothing stuck. Men either got intimidated by her degrees and her self-sufficiency, or they wanted to fix her, save her from her life, like she needed saving. She didn't need saving. She needed a cost of living raise and student loan forgiveness. But those weren't coming. She tutored on the side, $40 an hour, cash, mostly kids from the neighborhood whose parents scraped together money because they believed, like Linda had taught Maya, that education was the way out. She'd built a reputation. Maya Chen gets results. Kids who were failing started passing. Kids who were passing started excelling. Word spread. The night Min-jun appeared, Maya had stayed late grading her sixth grader's geometry tests. She was exhausted, running on coffee and spite. You mentally preparing for another week of standardized test prep that sucked the joy out of teaching. And then, footsteps in an empty building. A man in a suit that cost more than her car. A child with ancient eyes. "How did you get in here?" Maya asked, finding her voice. Her hand was already sliding toward her phone in her bag. Min-jun's expression didn't change. "The security guard, Mr. Patterson. He's a friend. I asked him for a few minutes to speak with you. I assure you we mean no harm." Maya's brain cataloged that. Patterson was ex-military, took his job seriously. If he let this man in, either Min-jun had serious credentials or serious leverage. "You could have called," Maya said carefully. "Made an appointment during school hours." "I could have," Min-jun agreed. "But this is a delicate matter. Like, I prefer discretion." Red flags were waving in Maya's head like a parade. But the boy, Jae-hoon, was looking at her with something that might have been hope buried under layers of careful blankness. "What kind of help does your son need?" Maya asked. "Mathematics," Min-jun said simply. "He's in 4th grade, but he's working at a 7th grade level. His current school," he paused, "is not adequately challenging him. I need someone who can push him further. Someone patient. Someone who understands how to teach children who think differently." Maya looked at Jae-hoon. "You like math?" The boy nodded. "I like patterns," he said, his voice small but clear. "Numbers make sense. They follow rules." Despite everything screaming at her to end this conversation and leave, Maya felt something tug in her chest. She knew that kid, the too smart one, and the one who didn't fit, the one who needed someone to see him. "Mr. Kang," Maya said slowly, "I do private tutoring, but I usually work with students who are struggling, not advanced students. And I'd need to meet during reasonable hours, discuss curriculum, payment, expectations." "I'll pay you $200 per session," Min-jun said. 2 sessions per week, cash." Maya's brain stuttered. $200 per session, $400 a week, $1,600 a month. That was more than her rent. That was her mother's medical bills. That was breathing room she hadn't had in years. She struggled to keep her voice even. "That's significantly above standard tutoring rates. You come highly recommended, and my son's education is worth any price." Maya looked between them, the man in the expensive suit with eyes that revealed nothing. The boy who looked like he was holding his breath, waiting for her answer. Every instinct her mother had installed screamed danger. Too much money, too secretive, too strange. But $1,600 a month. "I'd need to do an assessment first," Maya heard herself say. "See where he's actually at. Meet with both of you during daylight hours to discuss goals, and I'd need references." "Of course," Min-jun said smoothly. "Would tomorrow work? 4 p.m.? I can come to you, wherever you're comfortable." Maya pulled out her phone. "There's a coffee shop on Northern Boulevard. Cafe Verona. Public, neutral." "Perfect." Min-jun reached into his jacket, and Maya's body tensed, but he only pulled out a business card, heavy stock, embossed. "My number, if you need to reach me." Maya took it. The card read, "Kang Min-jun, Import/Export Consulting." A phone number. And nothing else. "I'll see you tomorrow at 4 o'clock, Maya said. Min-jun bowed slightly, the same formal gesture his son had made. "Thank you for your time, Miss Chen. Come, Jae-hoon." The boy looked at Maya one more time, something unreadable in his young face, then turned and walked away with his father. Their footsteps echoed down the hallway, and then they were gone. Maya stood there for a full minute, heart hammering, staring at the business card in her hand. Import/export, the oldest euphemism in the book. She should throw the card away, block the number, forget this ever happened. Instead, she pulled out her phone and texted her best friend, Shanice, who taught English down the hall. "You busy? Need to tell you about something weird that just happened." Shanice responded immediately. "Weird how? Weird like subway rat carrying pizza, or weird like you need to call the cops?" "Somewhere in between. I'm coming over. Open wine." Maya locked her classroom, walked through the now empty building, nodded to Patterson at the security desk. He looked at her carefully. "You all right, Miss Chen?" Did you let someone in to see me tonight? She asked. Patterson's face remained neutral. Gentleman made a generous donation to the school's after-school program. Asked for 5 minutes of your time. Seemed harmless. You safe? Yeah, Maya said, though she wasn't sure. Yeah, I'm fine. She went home, opened wine with Shanice, and told her everything. Shanice, Brooklyn-born, skeptical of everyone, listened with increasingly wide eyes. Girl, Shanice said when Maya finished, $200 per session? That's either money laundering or you're about to tutor the son of someone very rich or very dangerous. Or both, Maya muttered. And you said yes? I said I'd meet them tomorrow, in public. Maya, I know. Do you? Because this sounds like the beginning of a Dateline episode. Maya drank her wine, thought about her $2,400 savings, thought about her mother's medical bills, thought about the boy with the ancient eyes who liked patterns, because numbers follow rules. I'm meeting them in public. I'll do an assessment. If anything feels wrong, I walk. And if everything feels wrong but the money's right? Shanice asked. Maya didn't answer. The next day, 4 p.m., Cafe Verona was moderately crowded. Students on laptops, couples on dates, the espresso machine hissing, safe, public, normal. Minjun arrived exactly on time with Jae-hoon. And they sat down across from Maya. The boy had a backpack, pulled out a notebook without being asked. Thank you for meeting us, Minjun said. Of course. So, Jae-hoon, Maya turned to the boy, your dad says you're good at math. What kind of math do you like? Algebra, Jae-hoon said, and geometry. I'm starting trigonometry. He was 9. That's impressive. What do you want to be when you grow up? The boy glanced at his father, something passing between them. I'm going to work with my father, Jae-hoon said carefully, but I like patterns. I think math helps you see patterns everywhere. Smart kid. Too smart, maybe. Maya spent the next hour testing him, giving him problems, watching how he worked. He wasn't just advanced, he was gifted, saw solutions in ways that suggested genuine mathematical intuition. And he was lonely, and she could see it in the way he leaned into the problems, the way his face lit up when she praised a clever solution. This was a kid who didn't get to be a kid very often. Minjun watched silently, drinking tea, his eyes never leaving his son. When the assessment was done, Maya sat back. He's exceptional, genuinely gifted. I can work with him, but I'd want to make it engaging, not just drilling harder problems. He needs enrichment, creativity. Whatever you think is best, Minjun said. You're the expert. About payment, Maya started. Cash, as I said. $200 per session. I'll pay 4 sessions in advance. He reached into his jacket again, pulled out an envelope, set it on the table. Maya could see the edge of bills inside. $800. Just sitting there. Mr. Kang, I need to ask. What exactly do you do? Import/export is vague. His expression didn't change. I facilitate the movement of goods between countries, primarily between Korea and the United States. Electronics, textiles, specialty items. It's complicated and often boring. The answer was smooth, practiced, possibly true, possibly complete bullshit. And Jae-hoon's mother? Maya asked. She's in Seoul, Minjun said, his voice cooling slightly. We're separated. Jae-hoon lives with me. Jae-hoon was very carefully not looking at either of them. Okay, Maya said. She picked up the envelope, felt the weight of it, thought about her radiator that didn't work. Tuesdays and Thursdays, 5 to 6 p.m., I'll create a custom curriculum. But if at any point I feel this isn't working, I reserve the right to end our arrangement. Understood, Minjun said. They shook hands. But his grip was firm, controlled. The grip of someone who'd spent a lifetime measuring exactly how much pressure to apply. And that's how Maya Chen started tutoring the son of a man she was 90% sure was a criminal. The first month was almost normal. Jae-hoon was a dream student, engaged, curious, hardworking. They worked through advanced algebra, started calculus concepts, explored mathematical proofs. Maya taught him game theory using chess, taught him statistics using baseball, made math fun. The boy blossomed, started smiling, making jokes, acting 9 instead of 40. Minjun always dropped him off, always picked him up, always on time, always polite, always watching everything with those calculating eyes. The money came like clockwork, $800 every 2 weeks cash, in an envelope. Maya paid off her mother's medical bills. Fixed her radiator, started actually saving money. It felt too good to be true, because it was. 6 weeks in, Maya started noticing things. The car Min-Jun drove rotated. Black Mercedes 1 week, black BMW the next. Different plates. Jae-hoon sometimes had bruises, small ones on his arms. Taekwondo, the boy explained when Maya asked. I practice every day. Every day? When do you have time to be a kid? Jae-hoon looked confused. This is my time to be a kid. With you. That hurt. Then there was the phone call. Maya was at home grading papers when her phone rang. Unknown number. Hello? Silence. Then breathing. Then a voice, male, accented. You should ask Kang Min-jun what he really does, before you get too close. Click! Maya's blood went cold. She stared at her phone. Considered calling Min-jun. Considered calling the police. And did neither. Instead, she did what any millennial with anxiety does. She Googled. Kang Min-jun Import-Export New York brought up legitimate-looking business registries. But Kang Min-jun Korea brought up something else. News articles, in Korean. She ran them through Google Translate. The translations were choppy, but certain words came through clear. Organized crime. Suspected ties. Investigation. Her hands shook. She was tutoring the son of a gangster. Maybe. Possibly. The translations were unclear. It could be a different Kang Min-jun. It was a common name. But the photo in one article, grainy from a distance, looked like him. She didn't sleep that night. The next tutoring session, Tuesday, Maya watched Min-jun differently. Watched the way 2 men in dark suits waited in a car outside her apartment building. Watched the way Min-jun's jacket hung, suggesting something heavy in an inner pocket. Watched the way he scanned the street before letting Jae-hoon out of the car. Everything all right, Miss Chen? Min-jun asked, his eyes sharp. Fine, Maya lied. Just tired. He didn't believe her. She could tell. But he nodded and left Jae-hoon with her. The session went normally. Jae-hoon was working on a particularly complex problem when he said casually, My father likes you. Maya's pen stopped moving. What? He says you're trustworthy. That's rare. The boy said it like he was commenting on the weather. Jae-hoon, what does your father do, really? The boy looked up at her, and for just a second the mask slipped. She saw fear. He takes care of people, Jae-hoon said carefully. Makes sure everyone's safe. But it's a big responsibility. What people? Our people, our family. He went back to his math problem, like he hadn't just confirmed every suspicion Maya had. She should quit, obviously, immediately. Give back the money, walk away, pretend this never happened. But when Min-jun came to pick up Jae-hoon, and the boy hugged her goodbye, something he'd never done before, and whispered, Thank you for making math fun, Maya knew she was already in too deep. That night, another call. Same unknown number. You're being watched. Be careful who you trust. Maya threw her phone across the room. It didn't break, which felt like a metaphor for her life. Indestructible but constantly under assault. She called Shanice. I think I need to quit. You think? But the kid, Shanice, he's just a kid, and he needs someone normal in his life. Girl, you cannot save everyone, especially not the son of a maybe gangster. I know. Do you? Maya didn't. The next session, Thursday, she planned to tell Min-jun it wasn't working out. She'd give back the last payment, recommend another tutor, walk away clean. But when Min-jun dropped off Jae-hoon, he said, Could I speak with you? After the session? About. A matter that requires discretion. Every alarm bell in Maya's head started ringing. But she nodded. The session with Jae-hoon was bittersweet. If this was the last one, she wanted it to be good. They worked on Fibonacci sequences, talked about how math appears in nature. The boy was fascinated, leaning forward, eyes bright. When Min-jun returned, Jae-hoon gathered his things reluctantly. Can we do spirals next time? He asked. We'll see, Maya said, her throat tight. After Jae-hoon left with one of the men in suits, Min-jun stayed, sat across from Maya in her small living room. You've been researching me, he said. Not a question. Maya's heart hammered. I received strange phone calls, warnings. I got concerned. Understandable? He leaned back. Let me be direct, Miss Chen. I am not a good man. I run an organization that operates outside the law. We handle things that cannot be handled through conventional means. Import/export is partially true. We import and export many things, not all of them legal. Maya's mouth went dry. Why are you telling me this? Because you're going to find out eventually. And I'd rather you hear it from me, with context. What context makes organized crime okay? None. But context makes it understandable. He paused. My son is being groomed to take over what I've built. He has no choice in this. It's his birthright and his burden. He will spend his entire life surrounded by people who see him as a symbol, a tool, a future leader. You're the only person who sees him as a child, who makes him laugh, who teaches him that thinking can be joyful instead of strategic. Maya stared at him. So what? I'm supposed to just ignore what you do? Keep tutoring him like everything's normal? I'm asking you to consider that my son didn't choose his life any more than you chose yours, and that he deserves 1 hour, twice a week, where he's just a 9-year-old boy who likes math. And the phone calls? The warnings? Rivals. People who would use anyone connected to me as leverage. I've increased security around you. You're being protected, though you may not see it. Protected or watched? Both. He stood. I won't force you to continue, but I'm asking. $300 per session going forward. And my word that you will never be harmed because of your association with my family. He walked to the door, paused. Think about it. Let me know. He left. Maya sat in her apartment, in the silence, and thought about a 9-year-old boy who liked Fibonacci sequences. Thought about $2,400 a month. Thought about her mother's next medical bill. Thought about the fact that she was already being watched, already in danger, whether she quit or not. She picked up her phone, texted Min Jun. Same time next Tuesday, but I want the truth. Always. If you lie to me, I walk. His response came immediately. Agreed. And that's how Maya Chen became the math tutor to a Mafia heir. 3 months passed. The routine became normal in the way dangerous things do when you live with them long enough. Maya taught Jae-hoon. The boy thrived. She stopped jumping at shadows, though she noticed the security now. The same faces at her bus stop, the car that followed her home. Min Jun had been true to his word. She was protected. The money kept coming. $2,400 a month. Maya's savings account grew to $8,000, then $12,000. She helped her mother move to a better apartment, started thinking about graduate school, about getting her master's degree, about possibilities that had seemed impossible 6 months ago. Jae-hoon turned 10. Min Jun threw him a birthday party at an upscale Korean restaurant in Manhattan. Maya was invited. She went, feeling out of place among the expensive suits and designer dresses, but Jae-hoon's face lit up when he saw her. Then he introduced her to everyone. This is Miss Chen. She's my math teacher. She makes learning fun. Maya met Min Jun's mother that night, a tiny, elegant woman in her 70s who looked at Maya with shrewd, assessing eyes. She spoke in Korean to Min Jun, rapid and sharp. He responded calmly. Later, Min Jun translated, she asked if you're the one making Jae-hoon smile again. I said yes. She said good. That's high praise from her. What happened to make him stop smiling? Maya asked. Min Jun's expression darkened. His mother left when he was 6, said she couldn't live in this world anymore, chose to save herself instead of staying for her son. He hasn't seen her since. Maya's heart broke. Does he remember her? Every day. But he's learned not to ask about her. That night, driving home in a taxi, Maya realized she'd stopped thinking of this as temporary, stopped thinking of Jae-hoon as just a student. He was becoming something more, someone she cared about, someone she'd protect. The thought terrified her. 4 months in, the other shoe dropped. Maya was leaving her apartment building, heading to school, when a black van pulled up. 2 men got out, not Min Jun's men, different, rougher. Maya Chen? One asked. Her blood went cold. Who's asking? Get in the van. We need to talk about your relationship with Kang Min Jun. I'm not getting in any van. If you want to talk, we can talk right here. The man smiled. It wasn't friendly. That wasn't a request. He reached for her. And then, like magic, 3 of Min Jun's men appeared. From a parked car, from around the corner, from nowhere, surrounding her, surrounding the threat. But the standoff lasted maybe 10 seconds. Then the rival men got back in their van and drove away. One of Min Jun's guards, a man named Park, who'd been shadowing her for weeks, stepped forward. "Are you hurt, Miss Chen?" "No. What was that?" "A message. Mr. Kang has been notified. We'll escort you to school. And we're increasing your security detail." Maya's hands were shaking. "This is insane." "This is your life now," Park said, not unkindly, "unless you walk away. But walking away won't make you forget what you know, won't make them forget about you." He was right. That was the trap. She already knew too much, was already too connected. Leaving wouldn't make her safe. It would just make her unprotected. That evening, Min Jun came to her apartment himself. No Jae-hoon, just him. "I'm sorry," he said. This shouldn't have happened. But it did. I can move you, somewhere safer, somewhere they can't find you." "For how long? Forever?" He didn't answer. Maya paced her small living room. "What do they want?" "They want to use you to pressure me. Force me to give up territory, make concessions. Your leverage now. Because I tutor your son. Because my son cares about you. Which means I care about you. Which makes you valuable." Maya stopped pacing. "What happens if I quit? Right now. Today. Walk away from all of this." Min Jun met her eyes. "I honor my word. You'd be free to go. I'd maintain security for 6 months while things cool down. You'd keep everything you've been paid. And I'd find another tutor for Jae-hoon. And him? How does he handle another person leaving?" Pain flickered across Min Jun's face. "He'd survive. He always does." Maya thought about the little boy who hugged her goodbye, who asked about spirals and Fibonacci sequences, who'd finally started smiling again. She thought about becoming someone else who abandoned him. "What's the alternative?" she asked. "You stay. I increase your protection, pay you more to compensate for the risk. And I introduce you formally to my organization, not as an employee, as family, as someone under my protection. It makes you untouchable. Family. My son already thinks of you that way. This would just make it official." Maya sat down. Her whole life, she'd played it safe, followed the rules, stayed in her lane. And where had it gotten her? A tiny apartment, crushing debt, exhausting work for poverty wages. This world, dangerous as it was, had given her breathing room, financial stability, purpose, and a kid who needed her. What does being family mean? Specifically, it means you attend important functions. You're visible as someone I protect. You're introduced to the inner circle. You learn how to navigate this world safely. And in return, you continue being exactly what you are, my son's teacher, someone who helps him remember his humanity. I don't want to know about your business, the illegal parts. I can't be complicit in that." "Agreed. Your role is separate. Completely separate." Maya looked at him. This man who'd walked into her school and changed everything. "If I do this, I have conditions." "Name them." "First, Jae-hoon always comes first. His education, his well-being, his childhood. I'm not helping you raise a monster. I'm helping you raise a boy who has a choice about what kind of man he becomes." Min Jun nodded. Second, I maintain my teaching job. I don't care how dangerous it gets. Those kids need me, and I need to still be me." "Agreed. We'll secure the school." "Third, my mother never knows the truth. She thinks I'm tutoring a wealthy kid. That's all she ever knows. I'll make sure of it." "And fourth," Maya took a breath, "you never lie to me. I can handle the truth. I can't handle being played." "You have my word." They sat in silence. Maya thought about her father, who died driving a cab because they couldn't afford his heart medication. Thought about her mother, working herself to death for poverty wages. Thought about a system that had given her nothing but debt and exhaustion. And then she thought about a 9-year-old boy who needed someone to teach him that math could be beautiful, that thinking could be joyful, now that he could be more than what he was born to be. "Okay," she said. "I'm in." Min Jun bowed his head. "Thank you. Don't thank me. Just keep your word. Always." And just like that, Maya Chen became family to a criminal organization. The formal introduction happened 2 weeks later. A private room in a Koreatown restaurant. 20 people, all Korean except for Maya, all watching her with varying degrees of suspicion. Min Jun stood at the head of the table. This is Maya Chen. She's my son's teacher and mentor. She's under my protection. Anyone who harms her answers to me. The message was clear. The room was silent for a moment. Then an older woman, Min Jun's mother, spoke in English. You make my grandson smile? That's good enough for me? She raised her glass. Others followed. Not everyone looked happy about it, but no one argued. Then after the dinner, a younger man, maybe mid-30s, cornered Maya. You know what you've gotten yourself into? He asked in perfect English. Not really, Maya admitted, but I'm figuring it out. He smiled slightly. I'm Kim Sung. I handle security. You'll see me around. Stay smart, trust your instincts, and remember, in this world, everyone wants something. What do you want? For Jae-hoon to have a chance at being better than us, so I guess we want the same thing. He walked away. Maya realized she'd just found an ally. Life split into two realities after that. By day, Maya was a fifth-grade teacher at an underfunded public school in Queens. She taught fractions and pre-algebra. She dealt with standardized tests and parent-teacher conferences and the grinding exhaustion of trying to educate kids the system had already given up on. And by night and twice a week, she was something else. She tutored Jae-hoon in her apartment, now upgraded to a safer building in Forest Hills with actual security. She attended occasional dinners with Min Jun's organization, sitting quietly, learning names, learning dynamics. She learned to recognize threats, to trust Park and the security detail, to move through the world differently. Jae-hoon flourished. By the time he turned 11, he was working on college-level mathematics. But more importantly, he laughed. He made jokes. He brought Maya drawings he'd done in art class. He told her about his taekwondo tournaments and his piano recitals, and the book he was reading. He was, for 2 hours a week, just a kid. And then things got complicated. May 2020, the pandemic hit, schools closed, the city locked down. And Maya found herself teaching on Zoom from her apartment, exhausted and worried about her students who didn't have internet, didn't have computers, didn't have stability. Min Jun called her. Jae-hoon needs consistency. Would you be willing to tutor him in person? We can create a safe bubble. You, him, minimal exposure. I'll pay you double. The city's in lockdown. I'm aware, but my son needs you. And frankly, Miss Chen, you look exhausted. When's the last time you had a full night's sleep? Maya thought about her studio apartment, about teaching on Zoom for 8 hours a day, about the isolation. What are you proposing? Move into my home, temporarily. Separate quarters, your own space. Tutor Jae-hoon, rest. Let us take care of you for a change. Every rational part of Maya's brain screamed no. Like moving into a Mafia boss's house during a pandemic was insane. But she was so tired. And she missed Jae-hoon. And the thought of being alone in her apartment for months was unbearable. Separate quarters, she confirmed. Completely separate. You'd have a suite, bedroom, bathroom, small office, privacy. I need to keep teaching my regular students on Zoom. I'll set up whatever technology you need. Maya closed her eyes, made a decision she knew she'd either celebrate or regret. Okay, for the lockdown, until schools reopen. Thank you. She moved in 3 days later. Min Jun's house wasn't a house. It was an estate in Westchester, gated, security everywhere, sprawling grounds. Her suite was bigger than her entire apartment. She had a king-size bed, a bathroom with a soaking tub, and an office with 3 monitors and the fastest internet she'd ever experienced. Jae-hoon was ecstatic. You're staying with us? Just for a while, until things get better. This is the best day ever. The weeks blurred together. Maya taught her public school students in the morning, Zoom calls that broke her heart as she watched them struggle in crowded apartments, sharing devices, trying to learn while the world fell apart. She tutored Jae-hoon in the afternoon, advanced mathematics, physics, even some computer science. The boy soaked up knowledge like a sponge. Evenings were strange. Dinner with Min Jun and Jae-hoon. Civilized, almost normal, except for the occasional phone call that would make Min Jun excuse himself, and when he returned, there'd be something cold in his eyes. Maya learned not to ask, but she couldn't help noticing. At the increased security, the tense phone calls, the way Min Jun sometimes looked exhausted and dangerous all at once. One night, she found him in his study at 2 a.m. She'd come down for water, saw the light. Can't sleep? She asked from the doorway. He looked up. Rarely. You? Same. The world's on fire. Hard to rest. He poured 2 glasses of whiskey, handed her one. They sat in silence for a moment. Can I ask you something? Maya said. Always. Do you regret this life? What you do? Minjun considered. I regret what it cost me. My marriage, my son's innocence, the ability to live without looking over my shoulder. But the life itself? No. I'm good at what I do. I provide for thousands of people. I maintain order in chaos. Someone has to. Even if it means breaking the law. Especially then, legal doesn't mean moral, Miss Chen. And illegal doesn't mean wrong. The world's more complicated than that. That's a convenient philosophy for a criminal. He smiled slightly. It is, but it's also true. They drank in companionable silence. Why do you stay? Minjun asked. Really, you could have walked away a dozen times. Maya thought about it. Your son. At first. But now, she trailed off. Now it's more than that. I'm tired of pretending the legitimate world isn't just as corrupt. At least here, the rules are honest. That's a dangerous thought. Maybe. Or maybe I'm just finally being honest with myself. The pandemic lasted longer than anyone expected. Maya stayed. The temporary arrangement became semi-permanent. She renewed her lease in Forest Hills, but barely went back. She taught her students from Min Jun's house, tutored Jae-hoon, and started feeling like part of a family. She celebrated Jae-hoon's 12th birthday at the estate, a small gathering, Min Jun's mother, a few of his inner circle, Xiong, who'd become a friend of sorts, Park and the security team, and Maya, who'd somehow become essential. Jae-hoon blew out his candles and whispered to Maya, I wished you'd stay forever. Her heart clenched. We'll see, buddy. But she was already thinking it might not be just a wish. September 2020. Schools partially reopened. Maya had to make a choice. Go back to her apartment, return to normal, or stay. You don't have to decide now, Minjun said. Take your time. But Maya had already decided. She stayed. Not full-time. She kept her apartment, maintained her independence, but 3-4 nights a week, she was at the estate, tutoring Jae-hoon, having dinner, a being family. Her mother noticed the change. Baby, where are you spending all your time? At a student's house. He needs extra help. Must be some wealthy student. He is, but he's a good kid. Linda looked at her daughter with knowing eyes. Just be careful. Wealthy people, they use people like us. Don't forget where you come from. I won't, Mama. I promise. But Maya knew she'd already crossed a line. She wasn't the girl from Bed-Stuy anymore. She was something else. Something she didn't have a name for. November 2020. The attack came without warning. Maya was leaving the school, heading to her car, when a van pulled up. Different van, same threat. 2 men grabbed her, tried to force her inside. She screamed, fought, remembered the self-defense training Sung had insisted she take, kicked one man hard enough to break free. Then the other got her arm, twisted it behind her back. Pain exploded through her shoulder, and then gunshots. Not at her, above her, warning shots. Park and 2 other guards appeared, weapons drawn. The kidnappers ran, dove into the van. It peeled away. Park was on his phone immediately. Miss Chen is secure. Attempted abduction at PS 124. Get Mr. Kang on the line. Maya's legs gave out. She sat on the curb, shaking, while parents and teachers streamed out of the school, chaos erupting. Park crouched next to her. Can you walk? I think so. We need to move. Now, before police get here. He was right. She couldn't explain this. Couldn't explain why she had armed guards. Couldn't explain anything. They got her to the car, drove straight to the estate. Minjun was waiting, his face like stone. Are you hurt? My shoulder. Hey, they twisted it. Doctor's coming. Shung, full lockdown. Find out who sent them and make it clear what happens when you touch my family. His family. The word settled over Maya like a blanket. Terrifying and comforting all at once. Jae-hoon appeared, his face pale. Miss Chen? I'm okay, buddy. Just a little scare. He ran to her, hugged her carefully. I was so scared. Me too, but I'm okay. See? The doctor arrived. Sprained shoulder, nothing broken. Pain meds, ice, rest. Minjun sent Jae-hoon to bed, then sat with Maya. This was because of me, he said. They're escalating. They're desperate, which makes them dangerous. He looked at her. I can still relocate you. Somewhere safe. Somewhere they'll never find you. And leave Jae-hoon? Leave you? No. Maya. It was the first time he'd used her first name. I can't let you get hurt because of us. Too late. I'm already in this, and I'm not running. He studied her face. You're either very brave or very stupid. Little bit of both. Despite everything, he smiled. You're extraordinary. You know that? I'm a public school teacher from Brooklyn who somehow ended up living with a crime boss. I don't know what I am anymore. Your family. That's what you are. The word hung between them. Family. More complicated than blood. More binding than contracts. Family meant protection. Meant loyalty. Meant you didn't walk away, even when walking away was the smart choice. Okay, Maya said. Then let's make sure this family survives. The retaliation was swift and Maya assumed brutal. She didn't ask for details, didn't want to know, but the attack stopped, for a while. Maya went back to teaching, but with permanent security now. Park and another guard, a woman named Lee, were always nearby. The school administration was told they were private security hired due to threats. Not entirely a lie, her students noticed. Miss Chen, why do you have bodyguards? Asked Marcus, one of her 6th graders. Just some safety precautions, nothing to worry about. That's so cool. Are you famous or something? She laughed. Not even a little bit. But in certain circles, she was becoming known. The black woman under Kang Min-jun's protection. The teacher who'd earned her place in the organization through nothing but loyalty to a child. People whispered, speculated. Some respected it, others resented it. Maya learned to navigate both. January 2021. Jae-hoon turned 13, officially a teenager. But he was already 5'8", growing into his father's height. His face was losing its childlike softness, becoming sharper, more defined. He was growing up, and with that came new challenges. I want to know more about what father does, Jae-hoon said during one of their sessions. Maya put down her pen. Why? Because someday I'll have to do it too. And I should understand. You're 13. My father started learning at 12. Maya's chest tightened. What if you didn't? What if you chose something else? Jae-hoon looked at her with eyes older than they should be. There is nothing else. This is who I am, who I'm supposed to be. You get to choose who you are. Do I? Did you choose this? He gestured around. Did you choose to be in our world? He had her there. No, but I'm an adult. You're still a kid. I haven't been a kid since my mother left. The words hung heavy. Maya wanted to argue, to insist he was wrong. But she couldn't. She'd watched him carry burdens no child should carry. Watched him navigate adult worlds with adult consequences. Then let me help you stay a kid for a little longer, she said gently. Let math be just math. Let our time be just us. The rest of your life, you'll have to be what they expect. Give yourself this. He considered, then nodded. Okay. For you. For yourself. They went back to mathematics, but Maya knew something had shifted. Jae-hoon was preparing for his future, and that future was coming faster than she'd like. Spring 2021. The city started reopening. Life inched toward normal. Maya found herself at a crossroads. The pandemic had blurred boundaries. She'd been living part-time at the estate for over a year, had become deeply embedded in Min-jun's world. But schools were fully reopening. Life was resuming. She could step back now, return to her old life, or she could lean in, accept that this was her life now. She talked to Shanice, who'd remained her friend through everything, despite knowing more than was probably safe. What do you want? Shanice asked. Honestly? I don't know. Part of me wants to go back to before, when life was simple. Was it, though? You were broke, exhausted, drowning in debt. Was that really better? Maya thought about it. No, but it was mine. And this isn't? This is borrowed, built on someone else's world. Shanice leaned forward. Girl, you've earned your place here. That kid loves you. His father respects you. You've built something. So the question isn't whether you belong. It's whether you want to. Did she want to? Maya thought about Jae-hoon, about the boy who'd grown from 9 to 13 with her guidance, who looked at her like she hung the moon, who needed her. She thought about Min-jun, about the complicated respect between them, the way he listened to her opinions, valued her perspective, protected her. She thought about her students, the kids at PS 124 who still needed her. But she'd proven she could teach them and be part of this world. It wasn't either slash or. I want to, Maya admitted. God help me, I actually want to stay. Then stay. So she did. June 2021. Maya officially moved into the estate, kept her apartment as a backup, but her real home was now in Westchester. She set up her office properly, decorated her suite, made it hers. But Minjun's mother visited, gave Maya a set of jade bracelets that had been in the family for generations. For protecting my grandson's heart, she said in careful English. Maya wore them every day. Jae-hoon started high school that fall, a private academy, expensive and exclusive. He struggled socially, brilliant but awkward, too serious for kids his age. But he had Maya. She helped him with homework, even though he was now advanced enough that they were more like study partners than teacher and student. She listened when he talked about feeling different, about not fitting in. You know what I learned, Maya told him. Being different isn't a weakness. It's just being you, and the right people will appreciate that. When do I meet the right people? When you're ready. When you're confident enough in yourself that you're not trying to be someone else. He thought about that. Are you confident? She laughed. Some days. Other days I'm terrified. But I'm here. I'm trying. That's all any of us can do. Fall 2022. Maya had been in this world for nearly 4 years. She was 31. Jae-hoon was 14. And things were changing. The organization was evolving. Minjun was making moves to legitimize certain operations, bringing things above board, planning for a future where Jae-hoon wouldn't have to live entirely in the shadows. Maya found herself consulted on these plans. You think like an outsider, Minjun explained. You see things we miss, what we take for granted. She helped strategize community outreach programs, educational initiatives, ways to give back that created goodwill and legitimacy. And she was, without meaning to, becoming an advisor. This isn't what I signed up for, she told Xiong one evening. He'd become a genuine friend over the years. They were sitting in the estate's garden drinking soju that was probably too expensive for casual drinking. What did you sign up for? He asked. Tutoring a kid, that's it. And look at you now, practically running community relations. I'm not running anything. Your family, Maya. Minjun listens to you. His mother adores you. Jae-hoon thinks you walk on water. You have influence, whether you wanted it or not. She sipped her drink. It's terrifying. Good. People with power who aren't terrified of it are dangerous. Is that what I have? Power? You have something rarer. You have their trust. Trust. The most valuable currency in this world. Yes, and Maya had earned it by accident, by simply being decent to a child. Winter 2023. Everything came to a head. There was a move against Minjun. Coordinated, brutal, aimed at destroying him. His businesses were raided, associates arrested, assets frozen. The details were murky, but the message was clear. Someone wanted him gone. The estate went into lockdown. Maya was told to stay inside, armed guards everywhere. Jae-hoon was pulled from school, kept home. The boy was terrified, trying to hide it, but Maya saw through the mask. Is father going to be okay? He asked. I don't know, Maya admitted. But we're going to stay strong. For him and for each other. What if something happens to him? What happens to me? Then you have me, and your grandmother, and everyone who's loved you your whole life. You're not alone, Jae-hoon. Hey, no matter what. He hugged her, and she realized he was nearly as tall as her now. Not a little boy anymore. But still her boy, in the ways that mattered. Minjun was gone for 3 days. When he returned, he looked exhausted, but undefeated. It's handled, was all he said. Maya didn't ask how. Didn't want to know what handled meant in this context, but life slowly returned to normal, or what passed for normal in their world. That night, Minjun called her to his study. I need to talk to you about something important. Maya sat, her heart racing. Okay. If something happens to me, I need to know Jae-hoon will be okay. I've set up trusts, guardianship papers, everything legal, but legally isn't enough in our world. What are you asking? I'm asking if you'll stay, no matter what. If I'm arrested, if I'm killed, as if everything falls apart. Will you stay with him? The weight of the question settled on Maya's shoulders. Min-jun, I'm not asking for a promise you can't keep. I'm asking for the truth. Can I trust you with my son's future? Maya thought about the little boy who'd appeared in her classroom 5 years ago. Thought about the teenager he'd become. Thought about everything they'd built together. Yes, she said. No matter what, I'll stay. He bowed his head, and she saw something that might have been tears in his eyes. Thank you. That's all I needed to know. Spring 2024. Life stabilized again. Jae-hoon turned 15. Tall now, handsome, brilliant, starting to come into his own. He had friends finally. A girlfriend briefly, though it didn't last. He was figuring out who he was, separate from his father's shadow. And Maya was there for all of it. Every triumph, every heartbreak, every late-night conversation about the future. What do you want to be? She asked him once. When you're grown, if you could be anything. I want to be like you, he said. Like me? I'm a teacher. You're more than that. You're the person who sees people, who makes them better. That's what I want to be, someone who makes things better. Maya's heart swelled. Then that's what you'll be. Regardless of what else you have to do, promise me you'll hold on to that. I promise. August 2025. Maya was 34. She'd been teaching for 12 years. Had been in Min-jun's world for 7. Her life had become something she'd never imagined. She still taught at PS 124. Still fought for her students. But she lived in an estate in Westchester, was protected by armed guards. As was family to a criminal organization. Her mother knew now. Linda had figured it out, demanded the truth. Maya told her everything. Baby, Linda said, are you happy? I think so. Is that wrong? Happy is never wrong. Just be careful. And don't lose yourself in their world. I'm trying, Mama. That fall, Jae-hoon started his junior year of high school. Started thinking about college. He wanted to study business and mathematics. Wanted to learn to run the legitimate side of his father's empire. I can make it better, he told Maya. Take what father built and turn it into something clean, something Mom wouldn't have been ashamed of. Your mom should never have been ashamed of you, Maya said fiercely. That's on her, not you. Still, I want to do it. Make something good from all of this. Then you will. I believe in you. December 2025, Jae-hoon's 16th birthday. They threw a party at the estate. Big, lavish, filled with family and friends. Maya stood at the edge, watching the boy she'd helped raise laugh with his friends, dance with a girl who looked at him like he was special. Min-jun appeared beside her. Thank you, he said quietly. For what? For giving him a childhood, for helping him become the man he's becoming, for staying. Thank you for trusting me. They stood in comfortable silence, and Maya realized this was her life now. Not borrowed, not temporary. Hers, built on choices she'd made, some good, some questionable, all hers. February 2026. Present day. Maya Chen stood in her classroom at PS 124, teaching 6th graders about probability. Her students were engaged, asking questions, learning. After class, Park was waiting outside to drive her to the estate, where Jae-hoon would be waiting for their tutoring session, even though he barely needed tutoring anymore. It was just their time, their tradition. That night, over dinner, Jae-hoon asked, Miss Chen, do you regret it? Saying yes that first night? Maya thought about it. Thought about the scared teacher in an empty hallway, the struggling woman with $2,400 to her name, the person she'd been before. No, she said honestly. I don't. Do you? Not even a little. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. Min-jun raised his glass. To family, the ones we're born with and the ones we choose. Maya raised her glass. To family. Because some choices, the crazy, complicated, dangerous ones, were worth every consequence. Some children were worth protecting, teaching, loving, even when it meant entering a world you didn't understand. Some families were built on trust instead of blood. And some teachers from Brooklyn became something they never expected. Not a crime boss, not a gang member. Just someone who chose to stay. Someone who chose to love. Someone who chose to believe that even in the darkest worlds, you could still make light. The snow was falling outside. Jae-hoon was doing his calculus homework. Min-jun was reading. Maya was grading papers. Ordinary moment in an extraordinary life, and Maya Chen, who'd once only dreamed of breathing room and stability, had found something more. She'd found home,